What if I told you Emmy-winning actor finished recording for a game and the developers were convinced he would never work with them again? Not because of drama, not because of money, but because the process was so exhausting that even he compared it to water torture. That actor was Aloni Paul. The game was Dispatch, and somehow, despite everything, he actually wants to come back. Let's start with the people involved. Aloni Paul, best known for Breaking Bad and BoJack Horseman, lent his voice to Dispatch, and in the game with cinematic ambitions. On the other side was the Dispatch development team, a smaller studio suddenly working with one of the most recognizable voices in television. And this entire story comes from an interview with Eurogamer, where the developers finally opened up about what really happened behind the scenes. So, what went wrong? Recording Aloni Paul's voice for Dispatch took over 2 years. Not 2 years of consistent work. No, not scheduled sessions back to back, but scattered fragmented recordings. A few lines here, a few lines there, over and over again. Aloni Paul himself described the experience like this. It was gruelling. It's like water torture. A drip here and there. The developers admitted they genuinely thought after this was done that Aloni Paul will never want to work with them again. These recordings didn't happen in one neat studio session. They took place across different studios, different locations, and different time windows, all while the game itself was still evolving. That meant rewriting, pickups, emotional scenes recorded out of order, which is brutal for any actor, especially one trying to maintain performance consistency. This stretched across more than 2 years of development, and during that time, Aloni Paul was juggling film and television work. The game's narrative and systems were still changing. Recording sessions kept getting delayed or rescheduled. What should have been a short acting voice job turned into a long time commitment without closure. I know you are asking, why did it take so long? First, availability. Aloni Paul is in constant demand, and indie studios don't get priority scheduling. Second, indie development reality. Smaller teams don't work scripts the same way AAA studios do. Things change a lot. And third, voice acting logistics. When lines are recorded months apart, actors have repeatedly to re-enter the same emotional space without momentum. That's where the water torture comparison comes from. Not intensity, but interruption. And the devs knew it. They wired the process wasn't killing, but damaging to the working relationship. I know you may be asking, how did they even finish? With the patience on both sides. The developers adapted constantly to Aloni Paul's schedule. Aloni Paul kept showing up, even when it dragged on. There were revisions. There were pickups. There were moments where everyone probably thought, are we still doing this? But eventually they got it done. Now here's the part nobody expected. Despite how exhausting the process was, Aloni Paul has said he is eager to do more. Dispatch Season 2 is not officially confirmed, but the door is wide open. After a 2-year voice acting ordeal, the developers expected reluctance. Instead, they got enthusiasm. That almost never happens. This story says a lot about the games industry. It shows how risky it is for indie developers to work with enlisted talent. It exposes how messy long development cycles can become, and it humanizes voice acting in games, even at the highest level. Big names don't make development easier. Sometimes they make it harder, but when it works, it really works. The irony here is perfect. Developers thought they burned a bridge forever. Instead, they might have built one strong enough for a sequel. So let me ask you, would you want a Dispatch Season 2 and do long development cycles hurt games like this, or make them better? Like the video if you found it worthy. Do subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. Let's go 1,000 subscribers.